How's it going, everyone, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be going over all things artifacts in New World, from what they are, to how to get them, and even how to unlock their perks, so they can reach their maximum potential. But first, please consider giving the video a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps out massively. Now, let's get into it. Recently, with the influx of console players to New World, we've been getting a lot of artifact-related questions from the newer players that are not quite sure how the artifact system works. So I decided to put this video together, going over everything, to hopefully help some people out. But let's start off with what an artifact is. In short, they're powerful items in the game that can be gotten from a variety of activities that completely change the way your build functions. Because they're so powerful though, you can only equip one of them per gear type, so one armor, one weapon, and one jewelry, for a total of 3 artifacts in your build. This makes it so you have to be smart about deciding on which artifact to go after. Back in 2023, artifacts made their way into New World with the Elysian Wilds expansion, and new ones have slowly been being added into the game ever since, with every new season bringing heaps of new build possibilities along with them. For example, there's the Great Axe artifact, the Abyss. This is a really powerful Great Axe already. What's unique about it is that it can scale off of intelligence if your int stat is higher than your strength stat, opening up so many build possibilities. Before, there wasn't really any powerful, viable Fire Staff Great Axe builds, but after, there are many, and the mobility and damage you get from said builds is a ton of fun to play. Or, there's the Ring artifact, Blood Drinker. This ring gives you great general perks, but also, you get the fun unique perk known as Ghoul's Harmony. This will sacrifice 25% of your damage for a 25% lifesteal, and improve all of your other lifestealing abilities' strengths as well. This adds a ton of sustainability to certain builds, and could just open up a load of build options for players who have it. There's a ton of fun and unique artifacts you can hunt down to take your build to the next level, but that brings us to our next section, and that's how to know which artifact to go for, and how to get it. Each artifact has a unique way of being obtained, from PvP to PvE activities. Some require you to play outpost rush matches, others require you to farm out expeditions. Now, it can be a bit overwhelming at first to decide on which one to go for, since you have so many options, but I've got you covered on a good place to start. I set up a website recently called New World Guides, which I'll have linked in the top right and video description. On there, there's a page known as Artifact List, as seen on screen. If you head there, you'll see an image of every artifact currently in New World, with it being updated as new ones come out. They will all be sorted into what gear type they are, so it's easy for you to see your options. So for example, if you're mainly enjoying playing Great Axe, and wanted to see what options you had, you can scroll down to the Great Axe list, and see all of them. You can also look at each one individually to check out their perks, and find out which one sounds like the most fun for your build. But let's say for example, you ended up going with the Abyss. Simply click on the image that will take you to a page that will show you what the Abyss does, how you can get it, and how I went about getting mine with the Artifact Hunters series. This is a series in which I hunt down every artifact in New World one by one, showing you how I go about it and how long it takes me. If that's something that would interest you, I'll link that series now as well. Not every artifact has been hunted down yet in this series, so there won't be a dedicated video for every one of them yet, but I am working on getting them all up, and each artifact page will let you know how to get said artifact. You can do the same with armor and jewelry. If you know you want to be in a light build, and you already have gear that puts you on the heavier side of things, search through the light artifacts. Or, if you already have a good ring and amulet, maybe check out the earrings artifact, and see what might pair well with how you play. Eventually though, you want to shape your whole build around these artifacts, so if a heavier artifact might really perfect your build, getting that and making sure all of your other armor is light to keep you in the light category is the better way to go. The same with jewelry. If you really want the lifesteal from Blood Drinker, but your ring is the best piece of jewelry that you have, it's still worth just going for what works best for your build, and then slowly building the rest of your gear around the artifacts. Another reason why this is a good rule of thumb to go by is because whenever gear score is increased, your old gear slowly becomes less effective, but artifacts can be upgraded to the new max gear score, giving you 3 fast pieces of top tier gear, keeping them relevant for ages, so really focus on getting the right ones. But once you've decided on which artifact to go after, learned how to get it, and gone out and gotten it for yourself, you still have a couple more steps to bring it up to its maximum potential. Each artifact has 4 unique objectives you need to complete to unlock all of its perks. They're all different, and they can range from killing a certain raid boss with the artifact equipped, or killing a certain amount of a certain mob type. Most are pretty easy, but some can be a real pain. To find out what objectives you need to do, simply equip the artifact, and the objectives will be revealed, and you'll have a new quest in your quest journal, keeping track of your progress towards completing them. Don't get stressed out too much if you see an objective like kill 20 players in Outpost Rush, especially if you're not into PvP, because most of these objectives have group sharing on, so just by playing one match of OPR, your group should get the 20 kills for you without you having to do anything. Do note though, that you can only have 10 artifact quests up at once, so if you have a lot of artifacts, and you want to work on a new one, but have 10 quests already accepted, you need to cancel one of them before you can accept another one. Okay, so now that you've gotten your objectives done for the artifact, there's just one more step to do, and that's to go upgrade it at the Gypsum Kiln. If you're not sure what this is, it's the big blue machines you'll see scattered around the towns in the higher level zones, like you see on screen now. Make sure the artifact you want to upgrade is unequipped and not on any of your gear sets, so you actually see it in your inventory, and then interact with the kiln. If you scroll down to the very bottom, you should see your artifact with multiple options. Always choose the one with the maximum gear score, even though it requires more items. That's because if I were to upgrade to the lower gear score version, and then I went to upgrade it again, it would basically just be throwing away the materials I spent on the first upgrade. You'll have to spend a good chunk of dark matter, gypsum orbs, chromatic seals, and other high tier materials, plus a matrix of whatever gear type it is, which can be costly, but it's so worth it in the long run, and it's going to make your artifact a whole lot more powerful. Plus, the best part is you get to choose a final perk of your choice. Before you hit craft to upgrade your artifact, make sure to select a craft mod to determine what perk you get. It'll tell you what item you need to get the perk you're after in the menu, so go pick one up on the trading post and finish off your artifact. On what final perk you should pick, it's all very subjective, based on how you play your build and what is lacking from said build, so I can't really give you a definitive answer. Some are more obvious, universally needed perks, like if you had an artifact ring with no hardy on it, I would 100% say get that, as then you'll be allowed to dodge roll twice without getting exhausted, which is pretty much amazing for any build. But for the most part, it's up to you to make that call. If you needed some suggestions, feel free to comment below, and I'll give you some advice, but I need to know a bit more about your build and playstyle for me to give you the best advice I can. And now you should have your first fully maxed out artifact. Go ahead and do that again until you have 3 maxed out artifacts. It'll be on your way to having a really awesome build to dominate with in New World. Before I end this video guide, I want to quickly go over the PvP track artifacts you might run into. I know not everyone is into PvP, or vice versa, some people aren't into PvE, but I'm only going to be talking about those who only PvE, because I know it might be a pain for some of you PvPers out there to be forced into expeditions to get your artifacts, but it's not very difficult content, and the drop rates aren't bad, so it's way less of a grind than the PvP track artifacts. But if you were after an artifact, and it drops on the PvP rewards track, unfortunately, you have quite a grind ahead of you. They recently made it a bit less difficult, but it's still pretty time intensive. Let me explain how it works. Artifacts can only drop from the 3rd checkpoint of a PvP reward track, which alone takes a good amount of time to get to. Added on top of that, you only have a minimal chance of getting artifacts to drop from any of the tracks up to level 50, but once you get to 50, your grind gets significantly easier, as the rates massively increase. Thanks to Zelenin for the numbers, but as you see on screen, between tracks level 50 and 99, you'll have really good odds at these artifacts, but there are quite a few behind this track, so you might have to go through a few levels before you get the one you're after. If you're a returning player to the game, looking to pick up some artifacts, but you're already over 100 track levels, you can have a slightly longer grind, but still, there's some good odds on tracks ending in 4 and 9. Now, spending a hefty amount of time grinding out PvP, if you don't enjoy it, might sound awful to some, but don't worry. I have a guide on the methods I use to level up my PvP tracks without PvPing, so you can grind out your tracks as a PvE player and get yourself those artifacts. It'll be linked now in the video description and also at the end of this video. But that covers everything you need to know about artifacts in New World. I hope this can help some of you out to better understand the artifact system. If you still have any questions, feel free to ask them below, and let me know which is your favorite artifact in New World. Also, if the video was of any help, please consider giving it a like and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, have a good one. Thanks for watching another video, and a massive shout out to all the channel members and patrons seen on screen now. Links on how to become one in the video description. If you'd like to learn how to level your PvP tracks as a PvE player, click on the video to the left. Or if you'd like to follow me on my journey to hunt down every artifact in New World in my Artifact Hunter series, click on the playlist to the right.